All right, there we go. Much needed W. Astros top the Phillies 5-2. A lot more stressful than you would have liked for it to be, to say the very least. I kept hearing leading up to this game that, the Phillies got their ace on the mound. And, Philadelphia is fortunate because Wheeler's on the mound and he's their ace and yada, 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 yada. Well, fortunately for the Astros had their ace too. Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez today, he established himself as the ace at the moment. He's the guy that you trust the most. He's the guy that when the game is on the line, Framber Valdez is who you want on the bump. Is that always going to be the case? No, but in this situation with where we are, Justin Verlander allowed the largest comeback, one of the largest comebacks in World Series history, and Framber Valdez, he went out there and gave you a gutsy performance when you needed it most. And the pressure was up on him because of the Verlander outing. And Framber Valdez at this point, if there's someone, if everything's on the line, you want him on the bump instead of Verlander. That's really the story. Hell of a start for the Astros. If you're new to this, please subscribe to the channel. Spread the word. We'll get to the comments as well. By we, I mean me. But there was really there was a lot of tension leading up to this game. I went to the Ambassador. Y'all hear me talk about the Ambassador a lot. Shout out to the Ambassador, one of the best local restaurants in town. Went up there, got some soup, got some salad. And the workers were asking me, how do you feel about this game? How do you feel about this game? They were talking about blowing the lead yesterday. And you know what it's like if you walk around town, how it is with the Astros, especially big games like this. I said I was nervous. And we know about Framber Valdez, and we know about the mental stuff that he's gone through and how nervous he's looked on the mound in the past in these types of situations. So I wondered, with all this extra pressure and the fact that it, kind of a must-win type game, would Framber be able to handle the pressure? Because it is a thing. You can work on it all you want. It doesn't take much for it to reappear, and he handled it perfect. And my first exhale, I don't know about y'all's, my first exhale was first inning. As soon as Altuve got a double, is Altuve back? Then Pena gets a double. Then Alvarez gets a double. And you can kind of breathe. They get 3 runs in the first inning. You feel pretty good. And then it got real interesting at the end. I don't know what is up with Ryan Stanek. It's got to be something. It can't be as simple as some damn chart that Dusty talks about. But Ryan Stanek is not trusted at all. At all. To the point where Montero's coming in and having over inning outings. I don't know what's happened to Ryan Stanek. But I do know this. If I don't see Montero again this year, it won't upset me. Because that was an effing nightmare. And you know who the most annoying people in the world are when your team's playing a game? The Antonellis, man. Those are the last people I want to see whenever there's a tense moment going on. You have that pop-up, and then you got the Antonellis smiling about cheese. Screw your cheese shop. Fire up the comments. We'll get more into everything going on here. John Smoltz said it perfectly about Altuve. He's starting to get hits on terrible pitches. He's seeing the ball now. Yeah, this could be a George Springer type of situation where he looks lost and then all of a sudden he flips the switch. 3 hits for Altuve today. I don't even know when the hell the last time we saw that was. Bregman with the 2-run bomb too. And the in-game dugout interview. I love those things, by the way. Those are legit. That was a very, very nice addition by baseball. The in-game interviews. Yeah, Montero, man, I know he pitched well this year, but man. And then you had the air from Yuli. That it's not as easy as it should be. If you look at this thing, and I know the Astros saved face today, Philadelphia came here and they did what they should do. And right on cue, there's a comment, and this is kind of a good assist to what I'm saying. It should be 2-0 if not for Verlander being World Series Verlander. Got to hope to steal 2 in Philly. Exactly. Because the Philadelphia Phillies are leaving Houston, and they feel pretty damn good about themselves. And they shouldn't. It should be 2-0. And they should have to beat the Astros 4 out of 5 times with no chance at winning it in Philly. But they came here and they did what they came to do. Just win one. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, but from an Astros perspective, I mean, you roughed up both of the pitchers. Like the pitchers that we heard about leading up to this thing. Oh, well, they got a really good top 2 of the rotation. It's very similar to the Washington Nationals. Get the hell out of here. That ain't Strasburg and Scherzer. Get the hell out of here with that. Only reason this is even tied is because the Verlander situation, but not the Astros can get to these guys the whole time. I think it's going to get a lot easier. Now the atmosphere is going to be insane. Like it is the dirtiest, like baseball atmosphere. I mean, dirty, like good. And it just kind of drips through the screen, but they're not going to be going with their top 2 guys. And the Astros pitching, there's a significant advantage. Although this bullpen's starting to scare me. Very much so. I don't know what's up with Stanek. There's some sort of card sheet that Dusty Baker looks at. I just want to see the card that says that it makes sense for Garcia to have a full inning instead of Stanek. I really do. I'm not even being trite. If there is some card that says put Garcia in the 10th, I just want to see the card. I just want to hear why. Card, huh, Dust? Astros need to win 2 in Philly. They just need to win 1. WIP Philadelphia made Wheeler walk on water. Yeah, they were talking very highly about him. Shout out to WIP too. I saw one of their hosts talking about Framber changing shoes and rubbing his hair and all that type of stuff. And I respect that. I like that fire. I'd probably be thinking the same thing about cheating if I were watching my team face the Astros. So I can respect that. I am intrigued to see how Dusty handles Game 4. Game 4 is going to be the one. Is he going to go with Javier? Probably. Probably going to go with McCullers in 3. But I'm intrigued to see how Dusty does it. Let's get the Dusty approval rating in this game, because I know there was a lot of smoke for Dusty. I thought he left Framber out there the right amount of time. I thought he did a good job there. Getting Mancini out of the lineup was good. It seems like a professional hitter is at least on the plate, albeit a struggling one, but it seems like a professional hitter is actually at the plate when Diaz is up there. Mancini, it doesn't. Mancini's unplayable right now. So I thought that was the right call. Montero going back out there, man, and then facing Harper with 30 pitches. I don't know about that. Dusty loves him some Montero, though. Absolutely loves him some Montero. 1 2/3. It's absolute insanity. That 8th inning was one of the most stressful things that I've witnessed. Astros have been there. Those Philly pitchers going to be nervous. It's their first time. That is true. Altuve, Tuck, Pena need to bring their bats to Philly and swing big. Sure. Josh Ennis is rooting for Philly, I think. Might be. No idea. Maybe just wants both teams to play hard. Not sure what Josh is rooting for. Dusty trusts Verlander and Montero too much. I don't think he trusted Verlander too much. I was on Mad Dog Radio today with Mike Meltzer, and we both agreed. I never thought that after the fourth inning, I didn't think it was a mistake to send Verlander back out there. It didn't work out. In hindsight, you can say it, but I didn't look at that and say, okay, that's a mistake. That's more of a Verlander thing. I think Dusty might do that again. Should he? I don't know. You definitely got to look at it a little bit different, especially if Verlander gets out there in a must-win game. Brady Langston, Dusty handled Framber well. Montero should not have gotten the ball in the eighth, much less face Harper with 2 outs. I agree. Why don't you have Presley warm up for that bat? I don't know. And I don't know what's up with Stanek. We got to figure that out. That 8th inning was effing hell. I agree. It was, man, that sucked. It would have been tough to go down 0-2. Yeah, it would have been, I don't want to say impossible, but yeah, you had to beat him 4 out of 5 times. Meltzer back on radio, thought he was in law school. Meltzer's a lawyer, man, and he hosts Mad Dog Radio on the weekend. I have no hair left in the 8th. I don't know how big of a deal that is. I don't know what your hair looked like before. But my Dusty approval rating, my report card, I'll give him a B. I'll give him a solid B. The Montero thing, please don't do that to me anymore. But they ended up getting the job done. The bullpen was solid, didn't allow a run. So yeah, I'll give Dusty a solid B. And I do wonder what the bullpen's going to look like moving forward. Neris is really the only one that Neris and Presley are the ones right now that give me comfort. The interesting thing for me is, are we going to see Will Smith in this World Series? I know he was a big part for the Braves last year, and he was the guy on the mound for the final out, and he was one of James Click's moves at the deadline, and he's on the roster. Left-handed, 3-batter limit, Schwarber, however you say it, Fatso, and Bryce Harper. If you had a good lefty, that would be the perfect situation for him. I'm just kidding about Kyle Schwarber. I like Kyle Schwarber, actually, even though I don't understand why he ran around the bases on that home run. That didn't seem to it didn't seem to make sense. Facebook user kind of worried seeing us make some errors tonight. Pena miscommunication with Altuve on the easy out at second, and Gurriel missing the ground ball at first. That was just a little bit of miscommunication. I think in the big scheme of things, Pena probably holds that ball, and the guy's just safe in that situation with where the infielders were. I wouldn't be worried about Pena's glove. Yuli making an error at the end was interesting. Although he's been really, really good in this series. He's been playing some awesome defense in the series, so I wouldn't be too worried about the errors. Montero staying out there was Dusty's only mess up, but turned out okay. Stanek is the Kiki QT in Dusty's doghouse, I guess, but Kiki QT didn't go a whole season leading the league in ERA out of the bullpen. That seems a little bit different to me. Yeah, we're going to have Abreu too. I trust Abreu, although I still get nervous about it. I'm most worried how their bats show up on their home turf. I mean, they've been raking it home, at a freakish level, the Phillies. Absolutely crazy. Astros need another lefty on the mound. Sorry, sir, not going to happen. The Houston cardiologists will be in business on Monday after that 8th inning. Will Smith will get some work next game. We'll see. And don't panic. Yeah. I don't know how many people are panicking right now. It's just the Phillies got what they want, and the Astros got to handle it. But the Astros have a new ace. That's really that's the story. I think this 2-day stretch, I was concerned about Framber heading into the postseason. The main story yesterday was that Justin Verlander had a historic choke. That was the main story yesterday. The main story today is somewhat of a passing of the torch. I mean, you saw Framber walk off the mound after Dusty came and got the ball from him, and Justin Verlander was right there to greet him. So right now you have a guy who's pitching like an ace and an ace who's pitching at a terrible level in Justin Verlander. So that's the story. The pitching. One got the job done, the other one didn't. So that's really where we're at heading into Philadelphia. I'm assuming there'll be some announcements after the press conferences. I'm actually going to hop on the Sports Radio 610 Facebook Live with Brandon Scott after this. So if you want to ride along out there, he's actually at the game. He's talking to Dusty. He's talking to a bunch of other players and stuff. So check him out. I have zero faith in Verlander anymore. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 5 times, ... I mean, I don't either. If Justin Verlander goes on the mound and let's say the series is tied or they got to win, I don't know how many people are going to sleep very well the night before. We should be up 2-0. Yeah, I agree. Roughed up their 2 best pitchers. I know it's too early, but do we re-sign Verlander 3 years, 95? I wouldn't do that. Hell no. At 40? No. No chance. I'm not giving him $30 million a year when you have all this pitching. No, not doing that at all. I do wonder if you were to bet right now on who the World Series MVP is going to be, and let's say you still believe the Astros are going to win this, who would your World Series MVP be right now? Framber's got to be in consideration. Bregman's got to be in consideration. Tucker's got 2 bombs. He's got to be in consideration. Is there anyone that I'm missing? Because right now, if you would have to give it to Framber at this point, right? Framber would be the guy. Now he's going to get another start and he'll get another chance. But my vote would go to Framber. Someone asked, am I still bored with this Philadelphia team? Yeah. I mean, yeah. What's special about them? Bunch of characters that are playing good at the right time. Yeah, it's not exciting. Cool. Baseball lifer in the dugout. Cool. I mean, it's going to be an awesome environment. It's going to be awesome energy. Like, you can't duplicate that. You can't duplicate playoff atmosphere in Philly. But you can duplicate a team like this. It's not history. Guys that play hard. Hot at the right time. Playing for each other. You'll see it next year. You'll see it the year after that. You'll see it the year after that. Nothing really historic about it. The Dusty Baker pregame thing was one of the more interesting things for me today, too, with the coverage. I feel like everyone's fallen in love with old Dusty. If they don't win him this World Series, man, that is going to be a very, very cruel performance by the Astros. To lose 2 straight World Series, everybody's loving up on Dusty. You can tell that the broadcasters are setting it up to where if the Astros win, it's just going to be like 30 minutes right afterwards on Dusty. They're going to have him up there. It's going to be emotional. They're going to be talking about him being a Hall of Famer. the team's going to just be embracing him. It's like last year. He was with the Aaron family, talking about baseball lifer, the OG. Man, it would be cruel as hell for them not to win this for Dusty. That's who you want it the most for. If I had to list, like, who would you the top 5 guys you would be most happy for if the Astros won this World Series? Number 1's Dusty. Number 2 would be Jim Crane, because I think Jim Crane has done an excellent job, doesn't get the credit he deserves. So number 2 would be Jim Crane. Number 3, Altuve, because he's taking a lot of crap. Number 4, Bregman. And then number 5 would be a tie between Yuli and Pena for completely different reasons. Yuli kind of flipping the switch on the back end, and Pena replacing Carlos Correa and performing at the highest level. Those are the 5 that I would be most happy for. The Game 3 starter has been announced. It is going to be Lance McCullers. So McCullers on the mound in Philadelphia. Very rowdy atmosphere. He seems kind of built for it, though. We know how Lance is. A little bit cocky, a little bit of swagger. McCullers going to be on the mound Game 3, and then you got to think it's going to be Javier Game 4 with some guys on standby, the piggyback. So we have our starter there. Getting some Tucker. Yeah, that'd be good for Tucker. This would be nice for Tucker to be a huge contributor to a World Series squad. Probably be good for his contract negotiations too. Someone brings up an interesting point, and this is true. Lance not as good on the road. He's not. He's really good at home. He's not as good on the road. Although he's pretty good in Seattle, I will say. I thought he did a pretty good job in Seattle. Kind of got thrown off his routine a little bit in New York, settled down a bit, but he did pitch pretty good in Seattle against, in my opinion, probably the best team that the Astros have faced at this point. So I wouldn't be too concerned about Lance. The Pena error, man, I think he was going to flip it. Then he realized Altuve wasn't there. So he kind of pulled back. I think it's that simple. That's what happened. But yeah, Lance is the guy you want on the bump. What a hell of a Monday. It's going to be legit. It's going to be a legit Monday night. Tomorrow you got the Texans at 3. I'll be out there. If anyone's out there in the lots, we'll be judging tailgates. I'll be going down to the locker room after the game, interviewing some players. Got a nice little off day. And then we're going to get a little Lance McCullers on Monday. And Cleveland Browns, a.k.a. the Texans' other first-round pick. Little Monday night action against the Bengals. Bengals don't have Jamar Chase, though. So it's going to be a hell of a thing. Hell of a night. Little Monday night. And then the Astros just got to win one to make sure it comes back to Houston. I know Jim Crane's excited for that. Jim Crane's been getting the minimum money lately. You know, billionaires like to make bread. 7:03 on Fox. It's going to be Syndergaard versus Lance McCullers. They can rough up Syndergaard. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. Now, the other thing to look for in Philly is the weather. And originally, when everyone was talking about their rotation, Phillies rotation, like they had Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax at the top of their rotation, it did seem like kind of a big deal that there could be a rain out in Philadelphia, because if it rains out, you can kind of push it back and have your guys even more fresh. Although they would be ready to go anyways, but with their bullpen, the more rest, the better for Philly. They would benefit, just like the Astros, I thought, benefited from the layoff. And this is the other thing that I've always said. I think it's an absolute disgrace. One of the biggest disgraces in sports is that baseball teams don't have options to put a roof over the field. That's pathetic. Rainouts, delays, they inconvenience everyone. I'm not saying everyone's got to like tear up their stadium now and figure something out, but like these teams like the Minnesota Twins and the New York Yankees, who've built new stadiums in the last 10 years and there's no retractable option, that's a joke. You inconvenience the TV networks, which I don't really give too much of a damn about. You inconvenience the fans. The fans go to the game, and then all of a sudden they gotta redo their plans once again. You know how hard it is for some people even to get out there. You inconvenience the players. There's often an unfair advantage when it happens. Like it's ridiculous that a weather delay is a thing. In any team that from this point right now that is going to build a stadium and not have a retractable option, that's absolutely silly. Facebook user brings up something that kind of went viral during. I just don't get involved in this stuff, because I think the Astros, they've earned all the smoke that they've gotten with the cheating. Like, they did it. So I don't get too involved in this, but it did go viral and just brought it up. So I'll go ahead and humor it. John Johnson of WIP, shout out to WIP. They were in our building. Some really good dudes in a really good station up there in a really good sports radio town. John said Valdez is a really good pitcher. However, switching gloves, changing cleats, rubbing palm, always wiping hands on hair, pants as he leaves mound. Strange things, impossible not to notice, not saying anything, but ask him what the heck is going on. Well, you are saying something. Like, let's not say not saying anything. Yeah, you just said it, dude. Like, don't say you're not saying anything. But look, I would be probably saying the same stuff if I were facing the Astros. I mean, some of that stuff is normal. The switching gloves, not necessarily. Changing cleats, like, what's he going to do with his cleats? What does the changing cleats mean? Like, what would that mean? I've seen basketball players switch shoes. I remember guys that would change shoes during timeouts. What would changing cleats do? Rubbing palm, that's a pitcher. That's nothing. Wiping hands on hair, didn't really notice that. I know he does have the weave on, so there's something there. Like, as far as like touching your hair, I don't know. But some of this stuff is just baseball stuff. I don't put a lot of stock in that. But that's the type of stuff that happens on the internet. Astros Twitter brings a lot of it on. I mean, they want that smoke. So that's the smoke you get. And that's really just kind of the material. But I don't know what changing shoes would mean. I have no idea what that means. Someone says fire Lovey if he can't beat. If he loses, then give him a raise, man. We need to get on that tank plan. We need to give Lovey a raise if they lose. They lose this game, that's going to be real nice. We need a loss tomorrow. Be a perfect weekend. Outside of Verlander, Verlander screwed it up for us. I never heard anyone bring up game 4 against the Yankees. It wasn't even raining. What was the real motive going on there? I don't know. You're talking about the delay. I don't know. It seemed like at one point they were even talking about canceling it. I don't know what was going on there. How mad will the Eagles be when the Astros beat the Phillies in the World Series come Thursday night? Well, some of them might be upset. Jalen Hurts, I think he's rooting for the Astros. Did you hear the announcers talking about Maldonado using an illegal bat? I did, and that whole thing seemed kind of weird. So a bat's illegal, but it's kind of grandfathered in. So they're treating it kind of like the belly putter in golf. Is that what we're saying about the Martin Maldonado thing? Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. There's some spammers going on right now. I'm putting them in timeout. We're good. But yeah, I don't understand that bat thing. That seems kind of weird. That seems kind of golfy. It might explain Pujols, who was getting favorable treatment with the pitches he was getting. You want to talk about batting practice? Albert Pujols, it pays off to be respected. That dude was getting some favorable treatment. Brandon Scott, going to talk to him in the Sports Radio 610 thing. He's talking to Alex Bregman right now, also talking to Dusty. Dusty, the announcement is that Lance McCullers will be the Game 3 starter. Adam Spillane just reported that Dusty Baker said he wanted to get Montero through Harper in the 8th. Well, no shit. You left him in there. I mean, what does that mean? Like, yeah, of course you wanted to. Why is the question. But yeah, that is what I mean, come on. Don't do it again, please. That's the only thing I'll ask. Jason's in Texans mode. How do you feel about Malik Willis starting? I don't think he's very good. And I think that they would probably run the ball with him out there. That's how I feel about it. So that's probably the reason why the spread was what it was, though. It was a weird spread. It was lingering around too. So now you got Malik Willis. Interesting. Doesn't have a lot of weapons to throw to. Fortunately for him, he's not playing a very good defense. We need a loss so bad tomorrow, though. Like this is the one you need to lose this one. Texans, this is a big one. Bat is about splintering and more of a safety issue, not about competitive. Yeah, I get it. I'm just more so talking about the grandfathering in, like it's like the belly putter in golf. I don't think anyone's going to say anything about the Martin Maldonado. First of all, they lost the game that he used the bat. Yeah, he had an RBI single. It was a little dribbler. So I don't think we're going to have anything saying. King Henry getting a lot of carries tomorrow. This is a fact. We'll do the post-game show tomorrow, by the way, as soon as I get done at the stadium. So I'll do my one-on-ones and I'll come up here. We'll do the post-game tomorrow. Willis and Henry, little RPO. Do you mean zone read or RPO? Both? Maybe both? Could be it could be an interesting. I mean, it'll be an interesting thing to see Malik Willis out there. He's not. I mean, you'll see. I don't think there's going to be like a quarterback controversy at all. But the Astros win. We'll get more into this game 3. Appreciate everyone for hopping through. Story of the game once again, Framber Valdez, he's your ace. Game 3, Lance McCullers on the bump on Monday. Appreciate everyone for coming through, commenting, etc. Even Facebook user Landry, you are still slime ball for next week for your comments Friday. What did I say? I said that the Phillies bore me. I didn't say they sucked. I said they bore me. Sue me. And I'm telling you how I feel. They bore me. It's a typical like baseball story. Nothing special about them. There's nothing special about what they did last night. Same damn thing the Mariners did. Yeah, and I'll double down on that. They bore me. Not excited. I don't find myself respecting the Phillies more after watching these 2 games. I'm pissed off that Verlander wet the bed in game 1. You sitting here feel like the Astros have like their hands full? Even then, who cares? It's about the Astros. They bore me. It's not an interesting story. It's the same story. Anytime Philadelphia, it's going to be like the same story that anytime Philadelphia is in a championship. Now, the Nick Foles story was interesting, but it's going to be how much Philly loves their players, how much Philly gravitates, how the players want to play for Philadelphia, and how they're hot at the right time. Bored. Barely stay awake saying that. Need to see that. Do we see Verlander again in the series? Yes, of course. Have to. Got to charge it to the game. Now, the leash might not be as long, but yes, we do. Texans will keep Henry under 100 tomorrow. 5 sacks on Willis K. Parlay that. Probably pay you a lot. 5 sacks and Henry under 100. $5 might get you 20,000 with that one. There's somewhere where you can find to get that prop. Go ahead and get that prop. I'm damn sure not betting on it. I don't want that to happen. We need a loss. We need a loss and Lions win. Get that number 1 overall pick. But I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, tomorrow for Texans post, and then we'll talk when the Astros play as well. And I'm about to go over to the Sports Radio 610 Facebook Live. B. Scott's in the press conference, so get it going there. Shout out to all the Philly folks out there. Have some effing fun next week. Like all boredom aside and all that. Have a hell of a time, man. Because there ain't nothing like a big sporting event in Philadelphia. There really isn't. And you're going to get 3 World Series games in a row. And then you're going to play on Thursday Night Football. It's the Texans. Man, enjoy the hell out of yourself next week. If you got sick days, you need to use them. That's going to be fun. And I know y'all will show the hell out because that's what y'all do. Even though cheesesteak's overrated, it's like a 6th ranked sandwich. Like when you look at the sandwich portion of the menu, like where's cheesesteak? It's below the club. It's below the grilled chicken sandwich. It's below the burger. Am I missing any sandwiches? It's below the wrap. Any wrap is above it. Barbecue chicken sandwich, it's below. Philly cheesesteak's not that good. And the Cheese Whiz is weird. I don't know what the hell you are doing there. We're having arguments with Kansas City folks about sauce, and they're putting damn Cheese Whiz on their sandwich. You know where Cheese Whiz belongs? You know the last time I honestly saw Cheese Whiz being used? When I took my dog to the vet. My dog got a swig of Cheese Whiz after it let the vet give it its shot. And you're putting that on a damn sandwich and telling me that's where I need to go as soon as I get off the plane? And that's accepted as normal? And I'm getting crap for putting ranch on steak? People need to get your priorities straight. It's disgusting. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. I'll be out in the parking lots. Hit me up at Landry Locker. Figgy's going to be out there as well. We'll be showing out, doing what we do on game day, and then I'll go down to the locker room and then we'll go into the locker room and do a little post game, get you ready for the Texans. So holler at y'all tomorrow. Have a good one. Astros win. Should be 2-0. Thanks for nothing, Justin Verlander. On to Philadelphia. It's going to be crazy as hell, and you're going to be able to feel that environment on the TV unless there's some sort of rain out because they got a whack stadium with no indoor option.